Good morning. Morning's weather news bulletin. We begin the day with a rare meteorological scene unfolding over the Atlantic. Two tropical cyclones moving in very close proximity, already showing signs of interaction as they track northward. In the lead is powerful Hurricane Humberto, its eye clearly defined, while just behind, tilted slightly to the southeast, is Tropical Storm Imelda. A sloppier system that is gradually tightening up as convection flares over the northern Bahamas. With the storms so close together, the U.S. southeast coast, particularly from Georgia up through the Carolinas, has, for now, been spared the worst-case scenario, as Imelda appears likely to curve east-northeastward earlier than feared. But the price of that turn may fall on Bermuda. The island is likely to face a 1-2 punch. First the outer winds and rains of Humberto, then a more direct hit from Imelda within the following 2 days. This morning's bulletin will follow a clear sequence: track and intensity updates, analysis of upper-level interactions, model guidance for the next 72 hours, impacts on rain, wind, seas, and transport, a segment on a weak, homegrown low, flickering in the Gulf of Mexico, and finally, today's weather picture across the United States. First, the latest infrared satellite imagery. Humberto remains a robust hurricane with dense convection wrapped tightly around its eye, symmetrical spiral bands, and a clean eye wall. These are hallmarks of a system holding major hurricane intensity over warm waters with relatively stable shear along its track. Southeast of it, at lower latitude, Imelda, though still loosely organized, shows promise. Overnight convection has blossomed over the warm waters of the northern Bahamas, enhancing low-level convergence and helping to knit its rainbands into a more coherent circulation. Of note, Imelda's upper-level outflow is fanning westward, shearing the southwestern flank of Humberto. When two systems lie so close, the trailing storm's outflow can impose localized shear on the lead storm, slightly capping its intensity, especially along its southwest core. This is not a classic Fujiwara rotation, where two centers orbit one another, but it does show a delicate upper-level interplay, explaining why actual intensity changes may diverge from ideal model runs. Short-term track and intensity hinge on 3 points. First, Humberto will continue a northwest to north arc, passing west of Bermuda close enough to lash the island's east side, the so-called dirty side, with intermittent squalls. At higher latitudes, such strong hurricanes often broaden their wind field while beginning extratropical transition. Winds may ease slightly, but the radius of impact grows, casting rainbands far to the right of track. Second, Imelda is forecast to accelerate east-northeast within 24 to 48 hours, putting Bermuda directly in its crosshairs. The base scenario brings Imelda up to Category 1 strength as it nears or brushes just south-east of the island. A top-end scenario, though not official, has Imelda briefly touching Category 2 if conditions line up in the 12 to 18 hours before closest approach. Third, a reminder: the cone does not mark impact zones, only the average track error of the storm center, whether the center jogs north or south by a few dozen miles. Bermuda, sitting near the cone's midline, remains well within the field of hurricane-force winds and dangerous seas. Turning to model guidance, the European suite keeps Humberto passing just west then north of Bermuda, close enough for fringe squalls. Imelda follows quickly. Some runs clip the south coast, others bend just east. The GFS, often more aggressive on intensity, shows several members bringing Imelda stronger, possibly high-end Cat 1 or near Cat 2, with lower central pressure. Icon echoes this but nudges the track slightly farther north, raising the chance Bermuda lies in or near Imelda's core wind swath. Ensemble plots reinforce this. Humberto's track is tightly clustered, consistently west then north of Bermuda. Imelda's members, however, form a dense cloud over the island. Many cross straight through, others graze south or north. The bottom line: Bermuda is very unlikely to avoid storm conditions. It's a matter of direct versus glancing blow. So what does Bermuda face in the next 48 to 72 hours? First, hurricane force gusts embedded in Humberto's outer squalls. These may arrive early, tempting residents to think the main event has passed, yet Imelda follows right behind. Humberto's rainfall may be limited unless bands stall, but gusty squalls can disrupt transport, topple branches, and interfere with air traffic. Offshore seas will swell 10 to 15 feet, 3 to 5 meters. Higher in exposed fetch. Then comes Imelda's strike. Sustained winds of 70 to 80 miles per hour, 110–130 kilometers per hour, are possible if the center passes near or across the island. With higher gusts in downpours. Rainfall of 3 to 6 inches, 75 to 150 millimeters, looks likely. Locally over 8 inches, 200 millimeters, if bands linger. For a small island with rapid runoff, localized flooding and coastal surge from combined wind and waves are genuine concerns, particularly in low-lying harbors. Meanwhile, in the Gulf of Mexico, models hint at a weak, homegrown low, late this weekend or early next week. Off the northern Gulf Coast or near the Florida Panhandle. At this stage, hostile shear and mid-level dry air make development unlikely. More realistically, Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas will see recurring tropical showers, some heavy at times. In short, worth watching. Not worrying yet. Across the United States today, the southeast will see cloudiness and scattered showers from northern Florida to the Carolinas, Virginia, courtesy of moisture siphoned northward by Imelda. Rainfall will vary, at times light, at times heavy bursts lasting 30 to 60 minutes. Florida's peninsula, Orlando to Miami, faces the familiar wet season pattern, cloudy mornings. Midday sun breaks, afternoon storms. Urban flooding may occur when heavy rain coincides with high tide. The northeast stays mostly dry with pleasant 60s to 70s degree F. Skies clear and crisp, a boon for fall foliage outings, though prolonged dryness could dull leaf color. Out west, the southern Rockies see afternoon thunderstorms, short but packing small hail, gusty winds, and lightning, a hazard for hikers. The northern plains and upper Midwest get scattered showers from the Dakotas into Minnesota, with a more organized band sliding into Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan overnight, dropping 1 to 2 inches, 25–50 millimeters. The Pacific Northwest welcomes another moist marine surge. Washington, northern Oregon, and the northern Rockies will see widespread rain, cooler temperatures, and perhaps a few high-elevation snow showers, early but light. Nationally, SPC holds no major severe threat, while WPC flags minor to moderate flash flood risk in 3 spots: South Florida, the NM Company Mountains, and the NDMT Plains. Temperature-wise, the Northeast is mild. The Central Plains and Midwest still hold on to upper 80s to 90s degree F warmth, while the Pacific Northwest cools noticeably in the rain. The Sierra and Cascades stay damp and gray in classic oceanic autumn style. Why does the forecast change so quickly? Because the cone only describes average track error, not impacts. Each model run starts from slightly different initial conditions. Tiny discrepancies in mid-level wind or temperature can lead to very different outcomes days later. And with 2 cyclones close together, outflow interactions rapidly shift shear fields, boosting uncertainty in both track and intensity. That's why forecasters combine models with real-world data, satellites, radars, buoys, reconnaissance aircraft, all to refine the true picture, storm by storm. Looking ahead 72 hours, Humberto skirts west-northwest of Bermuda first. Gusty outer squalls arrive within 12 to 24 hours. Then, 24 to 48 hours out, Imelda strengthens and charges northeast, reaching Bermuda at near peak. By 48 to 72 hours, both storms move away, leaving the island under drier northerly flow. Seas gradually subsiding. The U.S. southeast holds on to scattered rains. Florida especially. The Gulf remains a low-probability watch zone for any homegrown spin-up. Practical advice. Bermuda residents should finish securing homes, board up windows, charge backups, and stock water and food for 2 to 3 days. Ports and flights will face delays. Floridians and Carolinians should prepare for repeated showers, clear drains, and allow for urban flooding. In the Rockies, Hikers should plan for afternoon storms and always have lightning safety in mind. Before closing, a word on risk communication. In today's media age, a single model map, even labeled, not a forecast, can spread widely as if it were certain. That's why we stress uncertainty ranges, mechanisms, and updates. Forecasting is iterative, like steering a ship through fog, relying on radar and beacons, not a fixed straight line. Audience understanding of this uncertainty is a shield against panic and misinformation. In conclusion, the U.S. southeast coast avoids the worst as Imelda curves away. But Bermuda must brace for a double strike within 36 to 48 hours. The Gulf has no red flags yet, but Florida stays wet. Elsewhere, the Pacific Northwest cools in rain. The central U.S. remains warm, and the Northeast enjoys crisp skies. We will continue to track new data and bring you timely, clear updates. If you found this bulletin helpful, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. And as always, if you have prayer requests, share them in the comments. We are blessed to have a community of prayer warriors, standing together in both stormy days and calm. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next update.